Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
And a 1, and 2, and 3, and a... Oh, hey there. Staying healthy can get, well, sweaty. That's why I order up post-workout drinks with Drizzly, the #1 app for alcohol delivery. With Drizzly, you can compare prices on the biggest selection of beer, wine, and spirits from local stores and get them all delivered in under 60 minutes. No sweat. So download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com.
Welcome to the Behind the Bits podcast. Your host, Scott Curtis, wants to learn everything he can about stand-up comedy and take you along for the ride. Scott and his guests talk serious about comedy in every episode. Behind the Bits will uncover knowledge from different perspectives on subjects such as writing and performing stand-up comedy, as well as booking shows and the comedy life. If you're thinking about becoming a stand-up comic, already in the comic game, or a comedy nerd, Behind the Bits is the show for you. Now, let's get Behind the Bits.
Well, Nathan Macintosh has been on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Colbert, Conan, and all the other late night shows. He's performed on Just For Laughs so many times. And hailing from Canada, his debut album, I Wasn't Talking, was featured in Exclaim Magazine's Top 10 Hilariously Good Comedy Moments. And his TV show, Trapped, has gotten some great critical acclaim. And I'm hoping he can hook me up with some bootleg copies because I'm not on the network that can watch it. I love what I saw as far as the trailers. He's one of my favorite performers, and his special Money Never Wakes, which came out just last week, already has over 27,000 views on it, which is very good for a YouTube debut. And it's also available as an album on all your streaming services. So that's pretty cool too. Let's bring him out right now. It's Nathan Macintosh. Nathan. I was waiting. I was just waiting for you to have a drink in your hand.
Oh, yeah. I thought there might be like half more. Like I waited, right, to take a sip, and I go, okay, he'll probably talk for another half a second, take a sip, and that was it. Exactly this time. Thanks so much for having me, man. This is great.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being on the show. As I told you before we started taping, you're one of those comedians. You know, when you're a comedian, you don't get all that excited about going to see other comedians because you're really just studying instead of just enjoying yourself and having fun. And you're one of those guys that if you're ever within like 100 miles of me, I will make a trip to come see you because you're that good.
Well, you know, man, that really means a lot. Seriously. Like, I don't even know what to say to that except for that.
Yeah.
That really means a lot. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
So one of the things that I've noticed that, and I don't know if this is true or not, I feel like some people are just compelled to go on the stand-up. It's just one of those things that you have to do. There's nothing else you can do. And you seem like one of those people. Is that a true statement?
Yeah. I mean, I was kicked out of many classes for talking. I was expelled from school for talking. I'd be doing this if I had a job, I would be the funny guy at that job. So yeah, there was not much else that was going to happen other than stand up.
Yeah. And when exactly did you start? Like when was the first time you got on stage and did a mic?
Man, the first time I did a mic, I was 19.
Okay.
But the first time I ever did, so I decided to start doing stand up at 10. I saw my mom always had stand up in the house. So the first comedian I ever saw was Sam Kinison, and I loved him. My mom watched Kinison, Carlin, Dangerfield, stuff like that. So when I was a kid, I always just thought stand-up was the coolest thing ever. So I decided at 10, I'm going to do this. So I found stand-up, which is so stupid. And 10-year-old Nathan never helped adult Nathan again.
Yeah.
I decided to throw him into this insane life. But so the first time I ever did a mic I was 19. But the first time I ever did stand-up legitimately, I was 16 in a drama class. Our drama teacher had given us a list of things that we could prepare for a presentation, a sketch, a play, a whatever. And one of the things was stand-up. So I wrote a few minutes of stand-up and performed it in front of 12 people in my drama class. But so she wanted to, I don't know why she wanted to do this, as if it was like a one-man show or something. So she's like, give me your jokes, and if you forget where you are, say line, and I will tell you where you are.
Uh-huh.
So I would do a setup, man, and then I'd be like, I'd forget it all. I'd go line, and then she would say the punchline, and then I would have to repeat it. It was miserable. I fully bombed in front of these 12 people in my class, to the point that I thought at that time at 16, I go, you know what? I'm not going to do stand up. I'm going to be an actor, as if that's an easy thing to do. Like,
yeah.
But then anyways, to answer, long-winded answer here. But the first time I ever did a mic, I was 19 years old in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where I'm from.
So thinking about doing that mic and the mics you did like in the first year, how different are you as a performer and a writer than when you started?
Oh, pretty different. When I first started doing stand-up, I decided that I wasn't ever gonna swear.
Uh-huh.
I had a dress shirt. I was like a little, like, so when I was a kid, when I was in grade 2 and 3, I was very like, yeah, me, quiet. I got to be on time.
Yeah.
And when I started doing stand-up, that thing came back. So I was on stage in a little sweater, and I was up, not swearing or anything.
Uh-huh.
And then one day you just go, what am I doing? This is not who I am off stage. So I hope you're okay with these long-winded answers. Because,
that's exactly what I want. So my goal for this podcast, and the reason why it's doing well, is I don't talk much. So
funny. Well, because I could just be like, how different are you? I'm different.
yeah.
But then what does that do? What is that? So I will be as detailed as I can with every one of these answers. But I'm definitely different writing-wise and all that sort of stuff than when I started, for sure. And there's things that I just don't even care to, I don't know, man, adhere to at this point in time, or again, when you first start doing comedy, everybody's like, you got to work clean. Do you? I mean, it's I get it. Yes, if you want to own a Ferrari and drive it with another Ferrari, yeah, probably be in your best interest to be as clean as you possibly can and be as broad as you possibly can. But as far as like just doing comedy, you don't.
Well, it's funny because, I didn't start stand up until I was 52, and I had the same notion as you when I started. And some of it had to do with just the way I look. I look like some sort of a professor or Lex Luthor or something like that. And it looks like I should be a clean guy on stage. And so I put together an act that was pretty good and pretty clean. And, I had this, crisis, when I moved from South Bend to Huntsville, and I decided, you know what? It's not me. I swear a lot, and I don't, I don't get into sexual stuff or anything like that, but, I talk about, weed and all the drugs I did when I was a kid and stuff like that. And those are good stories. but they don't fit into my clean persona. And I'm also an angry boomer. I'm angry at my generation for fucking everything up for your generation and the ones after. So I want to insert some of that too. So I've completely changed what I do. And it's exactly like starting over. It's like, okay, I have to go back to open mics again and run this stuff because I don't have any timing. I don't know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. And so, and it's difficult. And I'm sure you probably went through that too when you decided, hey, I'm just going to be me, but then you don't know how to present me.
I used to go to these, shows in Toronto that didn't really have any sort of, they weren't mics necessarily. I guess you can call them mics, but there was a couple of people that would be there, but there was no stakes at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to these places and I would just say, I'd have a piece of paper, and instead of doing super written jokes at the time, I'd be like, well, what's a thing that's on my mind? I don't know. Bank cards. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And I would go up and talk. So I would just try to be as much me as possible on a stage, and then get back into the writing part of it. But I had to go up with basically nothing and just try to be myself. And even sometimes now, like, I find myself on stage, I'm like, what am I doing? What is this? What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
So that ever kind of, well, I think it does go away at some point in time, maybe, but I still find myself in that sometimes. You're in certain rooms where you feel that you should be a certain way or blah, 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 but the whole thing is such a fucking mind fuck.
It is. It really is. So when you get in those situations where you feel like you're not fitting the tone of the room or whatever, do you just like do a switch right there and go into something else, or do you call an audible? I mean, how do you handle things like that?
I'll just address it sometimes. I'll just be like, guys, look, I get it. I walked up here doing this, and this is not, the vibe in here is terrible, and I understand why, and we're out of it. Like, I can't. I've done things before too where I'll go up and I'll go, and it's more to get me into kind of the moment, but I'll go, look, man, nobody in here is liking me right now, and I think it's because of this jacket. And I'll just take my jacket off and then do whatever. Or I'll stop using the microphone. Something that puts me into that being in the room and feeling what's going on. Because fuck, man, there's almost no worse feeling than standing up there and doing your bullshit and it ain't working. But you're like, I'm going to still do my for what? For who?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Because we feel that we have to for whatever, and then people will come off stage and be like, these people suck. They don't suck.
Yeah.
You gave terrible vibe. The whole energy here was fucking brutal because you had it in your head that this is what stand-up is. This rote, like, C2B bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this again because I've been guilty of this so many times. And you just go, get out of that. Get the fuck out of that and try to be as much you as you can. And that might be with B2B stuff, but not in the way that you presented it, not in how you walked up, not in how you're addressing these people. None of that.
Uh-huh. Now, you're well known enough that I would say in most cases, the audience knows what they're going to get with you. I mean, you're definitely a unique performer, and they know what they're going to get. And I would say a good percentage of them are fans at this point, right?
I mean, some places sometimes, and then other times there's people who you have no anything. I'm just a guy screaming, and either they're in or they're not. But I do try to get people. Like we were talking about Grand Rapids, Dr. Grit, before we started.
Yeah.
I was there in December, and I had a show. The Saturday late, I think. There was like maybe 40 people in the room. It's very empty. And there was a lot of people. The vibe in there was just like late Saturday, fucking whatever. And I just kind of went up and started talking, and you could feel feel that this side here really thought something else was going to be happening. They were like, what? And I had to keep addressing them to bring this in and them together, because that was the type of show that if I would have went up with just material, it would have been horrible. I had to, involve people and bring people in and try to connect with people. But anyways, again, another long-winded thing. But no, there are definitely a lot of people who show up and are like, oh, okay, I guess this is who this guy is.
Right. So you've got, it's funny that you said that you're going on stage now with just more ideas and you don't have them fully written out sometimes, but it seems, and I get it from listening to your albums and watching the specials, like the latest special. It seems like when you are at least taping that you put a lot of thought into the words that you say. And and I just want to give you an example. It's from the special. It's when you're talking about college loans, and it's a very small part, but you said I need money for a horse literature degree. And I snorted at that. And I can see like a million other things that you could put in there. I mean, did you try that with different phrases and then come to the horse literature degree, or did that just come in your head while you're recording?
I do write a lot.
Uh-huh.
What I was talking about at the time was I would go up without really any sort of ideas so that I could try to find more of myself.
Mm.
And now that I've been able to sort of do that, I do have pretty written things. But yeah, the horse literature degree, I think I wrote that. I was just trying to find something that would be as useless as possible.
Yeah.
A horse literature degree honestly might be more of a might be more helpful than a fucking business degree.
Yes.
Because it's more niche,
Yeah.
How many people know about horse literature?
Yeah.
And there's equestrians have a bunch of goddamn money. That might be more of a thing to do than definitely social sciences or whatever the hell.
Yeah. It's funny because when you're a comedian and you watch this stuff through, so I have to make myself just enjoy it the first time through, and then I watch it back and take notes or whatever, just at the funny stuff. And for some reason, that horse literature degree, it just seems like something that you had to put some thought into it to find the three words that were going to get the biggest laugh on that particular tag.
Yeah, no, I definitely there's a lot of writing in that in Money Never Wakes for sure. I had it in my head before the pandemic to do a special that was related to finance, and after the pandemic, I was like, oh well, I could still use a lot of this stuff because money doesn't really change too much. So. But no, yeah, man, there's definitely a lot of writing involved in that. And then, but at the beginning, there might have just been thoughts. You know what I mean? I might have just walked on with whatever the fuck, some stupid thing about going to Mars or whatever and tried to talk it out and then piece it together from there.
Now you've got about, I think that special's like pretty close to an hour. How much time do you have in putting everything that you put in the special in?
Well, some of those things are from over the years, and then there's stuff I wrote specifically for that special. So there was a couple of things that I had for a while, but I didn't have anything to do with them. Like the talking about cheering for your college sports team if you owe money to your college.
Yeah.
I had thought of that when I first got to the States because Canada doesn't have that. There's not really big college sports things. We don't have, huge football games on at 9 p.m. on a Friday. I thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, again, cheering for a school that you owe money to is wildness. But So, but I had that thing a while ago, but I never had anything to do with it. Just sort of like, I don't even know how many times I said it, not a ton, but I didn't have anything I didn't have anywhere to put it. So, I just put together, a lot of stuff that I had about money from over, a bunch of time. And like I said, the me talking about the Rockefeller guy and how he had 6 heart transplants.
Yeah. That was fantastic.
Thanks, man. I wrote that specifically for this. I only did that joke like fucking 4 times, which is ridiculous. But I wanted it for this thing. I had, again, long story short, my God, you got there should be a button that you can push that a hand will come out of my screen and hit me. Either way, there was definitely a lot of writing involved in this thing.
And how many times did you run it before you taped it?
The entire thing straight through, maybe once.
Wow.
But again, I've done some of the things enough times, and I would do a lot of sets in the city for 10, 15-minute sets, and I would just piece it together that way, so like the first 15 of it or whatever, and then work on stuff in the middle. But the entire thing, yeah, probably once or twice. Like I said, there's some stuff written specifically for that. The special itself, I made it around 40 minutes, but when I did it, it was about 55, I think, and the album itself, I think, is around that 53, 54. But I cut out stuff that didn't necessarily have to do with finance. I really had it in my head that I was like, I'm gonna make a thing all about finance. So anyways, I probably ran it one time. Again, push the button with the
no. You're doing great. Like I said, the less I talk, the better.
Yeah, that's funny.
Now,
wait, goddamn much. Anyway.
Now, a lot of comedians are doing the straight to YouTube specials. Was there something that motivated you to do it that way rather than pitch it to Amazon or something like that? Did you just want to put it straight out there, or what's the business reason to pop something right on YouTube?
For me, this thing was less of a business decision and more, I want to start putting things out. And I've gone through the channels before, and things take time and they might not be able to get done and whatever the case may be. So in all seriousness, I put all of the other stuff aside because people were like, why don't you pitch it to this? Why don't you pitch it to this? Like, I don't want to do that. I literally just want to start putting things out so that I can continue to make more things. If there's a chance that maybe I go down the road and try to pitch this, and I'm not a famous person, so they go, okay, 2 or 3 months from now, I find out this person doesn't want it, this person doesn't want it, and then maybe by that time I get depressed that nobody even wants it. So I go, well, why would I even put it out? And then I hate the material anyway, and I'm like, no, stop, nope. We're making the fucking thing. We're putting the fuck out so that I can work on the next fucking thing.
Yeah.
It was less business and more me just like stressed out with myself. God, man, I've thrown away so much material over the years for zero reason. Nothing. Either I get sick of it or I did it on some obscure Canadian fucking TV show. It was watched by one moose and a goddamn hockey stick. And in my head, everybody saw it. I'm an idiot. So literally, I business side be damned. I will not become rich off this fucking thing, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I made it. I'm happy that I sat down and did the fucking thing, and it's out. And now I can, tell people about it, make little clips from it, and all that sort of stuff, and mostly get this material out of my head so I can work on other things, the next stuff.
Thing I really like about your special is there's no pretenses. I mean, it goes right into the special and then right into the credits afterwards. It's all based on your show that night and the talent involved. And I really like that because some folks, they play around, they'll do a little skit before and I like some of those too. They'll do a little skit before and then they'll do outtakes and stuff like that. And I just liked how you just put it out there and said, go for it, people, just watch it.
Well, I don't want to say business decision, but that was a business decision in the way that I think, I don't know anything. It's just my own thought. I think on Netflix, okay, let's say you're a famous person. You're afforded a lot. If you're on Netflix or HBO or any of those type of things and you're not a famous person, you're still afforded a lot because Netflix, it's easier to have an intro because when you click on a Netflix video, that's it. That's the only thing on your screen.
Right.
And people are, maybe they'll tune out, but there's nothing else for them to look at right now, right? YouTube, your thing is sitting here with 7 other videos.
Yeah.
Right here. Like the second you turn this on, why don't you check out this guy building a canoe? What about this mother backflipping into Jello? What about this? So I just kind of thought, I'm going to just make it as quick as possible so that it's less of a chance that somebody can get the fuck out. If you, as a non-famous person, does somebody need to see me in a sketch where
Lowe's always has more ways for you to save. On top of our everyday low prices, pros can save big when buying in bulk. Or if your purchase is over $1,500, ask about our volume savings program. A pro associate can provide a customized quote. Ask about our volume savings programs today. It always pays to be a pro at Lowe's. While supplies last, minimum purchase required. Selection varies by location. Lowe's reserves the right to limit quantities. Volume discount pricing quotes are valid up to 7 days. Visit your local pro desk to learn more and start saving. Offers subject to change and may not be available in all Lowe's stores.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
And a 1, and 2, and 3, and a... Oh, hey there. Staying healthy can get, well, sweaty. That's why I order up post-workout drinks with Drizzly, the #1 app for alcohol delivery. With Drizzly, you can compare prices on the biggest selection of beer, wine, and spirits from local stores and get them all delivered in under 60 minutes. No sweat. So download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com.
get out of a car and tell, hey, who are you?
Yeah.
I came to the building. I just went, and I'm with you. I'm not against those. And I'm hoping to have them, maybe one day on a thing that's when I'm afforded a little bit more time. But yes, I was like, nope, it's going right the fuck in. You know what? The joke that I opened with in the special is not how I opened the album. I put that at the front because it's quick. It sets up what I'm doing, and we're going in. Get the fuck. One person messaged me about it. They go, buddy, where? No intro? You got no? There's no time.
Yes.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
We're fucking going. That's it.
Yeah. I found it refreshing. It's kind of funny because I was listening to it in the background while I was working this morning, and it ended and I was still working. So somebody else's special came up, and I'm not going to say the name of it. I don't even know who he is, but it was so bad. I mean, he was into rape jokes like 3 minutes in. And I'm like, wow. So if you like Nathan Macintosh, you might like this asshole. I don't understand how the algorithm made that happen.
Yeah, the fucking scary algorithm. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's special. It says it sees comedy special and then just can I tell you this, Scott, real quick? Nobody really cares. I guess I'm gonna say it to you. I didn't want to call this a comedy special. I wanted to call it a project. It's all material about one thing, but I thought if I don't call it a special, random people who are covered in butter at home aren't going to know what the fuck is.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, man, I don't know. And I've watched a lot of those intros as well. And again, not that I don't like them, but when you are on a machine that you can watch every single pornographic fucking image that's ever existed, there's no time for intros.
Yeah.
Especially these 3-minute sketches where guys are just blowing themselves and talking about, oh man, look at the crowd. And people even come out. That's the other thing I noticed too. And again, I'm not against anyone. Great, do it. But there's a lot of also people. I cut my intro in terms of announcement. I cut my intro of me walking on stage. I cut all of that.
Yeah.
Because I thought, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know, but stage, did you have to see me fucking get there?
Yeah.
But again, on a different platform, I might not do that. But for YouTube specifically, there's just so much stuff on there, man, that I thought I'm just going to get to it.
Yeah. So I'm getting a vibe from you that you're a lot like me in that you love to talk about things that matter, but you hate small talk. It is
well, I guess it depends on who I'm talking to. Why? What was the small talk thing here that I?
Well, I think about myself because I'm going back out to the mics and stuff like that, and I'm getting to know a new comedy scene and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to go up and do my thing, and I don't want to hang. I did a mic Sunday night, and a couple of guys came up from Nashville, and somebody liked something I said, and I guess it's like midnight, and he's still talking to me about punk band because I'm a punk aficionado, and I'm like, I just don't know. I just want to do my thing and go home. And do you ever feel like that you just want to do your reps and not do the hang?
Yeah, but I mean, the hang, as crazy as it is at the beginning, is probably the most important thing.
Yeah,
it's not the most important thing, but it's a massively important thing. These are the people who can help you one day, and these are the circles where people know about kind of what's going on. So you can't just do your comedy and bail. We're also, I was saying this to somebody the other day too, because they told me, what was it, man? They were like, somebody came up to them and said, oh, you must be so happy with your late night set. And they were like, don't say that. Now it puts pressure on me to be. And I was like, man, you know what? As comedians, we're kind of fucking pricks, man. It's like, in a lot of weird ways. Somebody's just talking to you. They're trying to be nice. They're trying to connect. And we're in our head of like, oh, I hate small talk. Well, get fucked, man. Walk in the ocean. It just is. This world is this way for reasons. Somebody might be. Somebody's just trying to connect. In a way. But I do try to not just kind of be around constantly. If that makes sense. Just sticking around to stick around. And also those people are probably younger than you, and this is what they're doing. This is what it is.
Right. Yeah, and I do it. It just takes a tremendous amount of energy, and when you're 58, you don't have that much left. So I get that, but it's I don't think people are trying to be malicious about it. It's like fuck, man, when you start comedy's awesome, and you want to be around it as much as possible. You want to talk to the people that are doing it as much as possible. Yeah. Hey, can we talk about Trapped a little bit? Because okay.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Because I watched a few clips, and this looks absolutely hilarious. And tell me what's behind that, because it's about you. And and I know it's semi-fictional, but I can see a lot of you in it from what I'm seeing on the clips. Tell me about it.
So I wrote that during the pandemic, sort of just something to do, and was lucky enough to be able to get this show made. So it's basically like I go home to visit my mom, and my old boss blackmails me into working at the store that I walked out of years ago to be a comedian. So it's basically just me, my mom, my cousin, and that guy. And there's a lot of back and forth with me and my mom, and the woman that plays my mom in that is incredible.
She's great.
Trina Corkum is amazing. And she has so if you watch any of those little clips and you're like, oh man, that is my mom. That it's not exaggerated.
Uh-huh.
That's who she is. And Trina just fucking nailed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've always, like some of the conversations I've had with my mom over the years, oh, this is ridiculous. Like I don't know why this is, but it's funny. It's funny to me that this woman would be this cold or this fucking sharp about something that doesn't even make sense.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, it's right now, it's only going to be streamed in Canada. I just did the second season of it. I got, so that'll be in Canada too, but I'm hoping to get season 1 somewhere here in the States, and then 2 as well. So hopefully I'll be able to get you to see the whole thing at some point in time. But it was really fun to do, man. And it's fun to do another thing that's comedy, but not stand up. It was really fun to write. Whatever situations.
I really love the concept of it. And, I'm just going to start writing all the streaming services as an angry old man and say, I need that Nathan Macintosh show.
Well, please, I wouldn't stop you. But they would literally get a letter and they don't open those fucking letters.
Yeah.
They don't. The streaming services owes like $10 billion somewhere. They got a whole stack of letters of why did you cancel this show? Bring back whatever. And then over here, bills.
Yeah.
That's what they look at, this shit over here, whatever. We got the IRS coming after, fuck's sake. We've paid $1. We've been open 10 fucking years and we've never made $1.
Oh man, that's great. One of the things that I like about your act is the energy, and we all say that, everybody says that when you're a comedian, you're bringing one part of yourself that's a little bit amplified on stage. Do you feel like that's the case with you, that you're taking your own angst on stage, and that's what we're seeing? We're seeing you pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, right now I'm fucking swinging around and shit. It's who, it's what I do. It's who I am off stage. So yeah, it is me. I don't know why. And I'm not against anybody that does it. I find it very hard to just stand there and quietly say jokes into a microphone. It's not me. It's not how I want to do it. It's not, it's just not, it's not my deal.
Yeah. And it wouldn't work with you. It wouldn't work with the material. Yeah.
It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's not who I am.
Yeah.
But, so yeah.
Do you use,
that was the short answer I think I've given.
Yeah. And I kind of thought that's what you'd say. Do you use social media to help write your stuff? Because you write some really good little Facebook posts and Twitter posts and stuff like that. Do you use that to get feedback and energy and then read it back later and decide if that's going to be part of your act?
The Facebook stuff, I use some of that, or sometimes I put up stuff that I am kind of working on and I'll just see what, if people like it or don't or whatever. But, Facebook, I just I was like, I'm not putting anything over here and there's people over here and I like writing. So what am I doing? I'll just start every day trying to write something or again, work on something that I'm working on and see, and just see if it works. If it works, it doesn't. But if something works on Facebook or whatever the hell, I will probably try to use it. But if it doesn't work, I might still try it anyway, because it might be a different thing in front of regular people. I just like writing things. So in the morning, I get up, I get a coffee, and I try to put something on that.
That's great. You've been around long enough. would you say is the best advice you ever got from another comedian, or what's the worst advice you ever got?
The best advice is a weird one. So I met this guy years ago. His name, everybody called him Crazy. That was his, they'd say he's crazy and then his name. Okay. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, he's fucking crazy. So I was doing some show with him in, wherever the hell it was. And they go, you're going to work with that guy? He's crazy. He's fucking done. And I'm pretty young. I get there and he goes, how long have you doing comedy? So 4 years. He goes, let me tell you something. And he stands up and I go, here we go. He's going to, some fucking bananas. He's going to, tell me one of those things of like, make sure you always wear a suit thing and whatever the hell. But he stands up and he goes, save 10% of everything you make. And I go, what? What are you talking? I just did not think that was going to be the thing that he said. Uh-huh. And he goes, yeah, save 10% of everything you make. He goes, nobody cares about you in this fucking business. He goes, if you shatter your leg, if you whatever, nobody's coming. And if you can't work, you're fucked. So he goes, I'm telling you right now, hang on to some money. And I went, thanks. And since that time, I have done that. I went to get a bag of chips and I'm eating it. He ripped it out of my hand. And he goes, stop eating the shit. He handed me a bag of trail mix. Clearly what had happened with this guy, he's a guy who had been doing comedy for a long, long time and gotten to this point where he looked at some of the mistakes he had made and generously, it might have been like, well, I didn't find it harsh. Whatever. But he was like, I'm going to tell this fucking kid, he didn't have to say anything to me. I wouldn't have been upset if he had literally said 0 words to me. Right. Yeah. But the fact that he kind of, in his way was like, hang on to some money and don't eat garbage. Fuck, man. Those aren't bad. That's not bad advice for a comedian when you travel all the time. And, if you're not working, you're not making fucking money.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So, and then the worst advice I ever got. Oh God. There's been some, I don't know, stuff that just might not work for me personally. If I'm doing a TV taping or a comedy competition or something, people will be like, do the fucking hits, do the stuff that fucking, like, I just can't, I need to put in some new-ish type thing or I can't really perform it well. And I'm not, I envy the people that can just do the same stuff. I really mean this. I'm not trashing. I envy the people who can do the same thing the exact same way for years and years and years. I find that fucking so hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, just like crazy. I need to change something about it or do something, add some other stuff to it. I can't. I can't find the energy for it if I'm not feeling it. And there's some people who are like, yes, do it the exact same way for years and years and years. I really find that to be a pretty fucking commendable thing.
Yeah. I agree with not doing the hits. And it's not like I have hits or anything, but if I go on stage and I'm doing just my best stuff that I know is going to work, I don't put near as much energy into it as if I'm doing tried and true bookends around something that's new. I do better at the stuff that I know is good if I know that I'm going to try something new in the middle of it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. So, I mean, that's not even like the worst advice, but it's just advice that doesn't necessarily work for me. I can't think of any like horrific advice that's been, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of just bad. It's mostly just stuff that wouldn't necessarily work for you. Sometimes when comedians are talking to you and they're telling you to do something, it's because that's how they would do it.
Right.
Even with jokes, they'd be like, I'd add this tag. And you go, well, yes, you would.
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. That's it. That's it. If you had this joke, this is where you would go with it. That's not where I would go with it.
Yeah. Dig it. So we're at my favorite part of the podcast where we do something cool that I don't have a sound or anything for yet. It's called Is This Anything? Is This Anything? And it's where we each bring a joke or premise and we just talk it out a little bit and maybe get some tags and say if it's a winner or a loser. Since you're the guest, you get to choose who goes first.
You.
Okay. I got to bring out my notes because I haven't done this one in a while. This is like an old joke that I'm going to try to bring back. Yeah. So the world's definitely a strange place these days. We used to make fun of doomsday preppers. We don't do that anymore. It used to be, did you hear about Jeremy? He's got a bunker. He thinks we're going to have World War III or something. He's got like 3 years of food in there. Now it's, did you hear about Jeremy? He's got a bunker. He's totally ready for World War III, and he lost custody of his kids. So we've got 2 spots available. Let's have Jeremy over for dinner. That's it.
That's funny. There's definitely legs to this in terms of, yeah, man, the world seems to be every once in a while. It seems to be ending more now than it did years ago.
Yeah.
And there's like people now more talk about the world. I mean, there's always been people talking about the end of the world, but it seems to be more now and for more reasons, as opposed to just like, hey, we reached a number on a calendar. Now there's like war, water, heat, fucking viruses, lots of stuff. So, yeah, I definitely think there's fucking legs to that, and you should keep working on it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. That's one I did. It may be, I had hair the last time I did it. So it's been a while, but I think it's something that I just put away and I'm like, yeah, I could probably fit that because it's kind of fitting my current theme a little bit more. So, yeah. Yeah.
And I think legitimately before I got on here, I looked at Twitter and I think Doomsday was trending. Doomsday Clock.
Okay.
Trending. Right now. Doomsday Clock.
There you go. Well, I'm doing a mic tonight. I'll bring that one out tonight then since it's trending.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing that you can work on, use, do, whatever that you could. I mean, there's so much stuff you can add to that. There's so many ways you can build on that. No, that's definitely something you should keep working on for sure.
Yeah. And I've been thinking about like I'm talking to my wife about it, and she's like, "Well, what kind of food do they have? What kind of freeze dried shit do they have? Because I don't know if I even want to live if I have to eat, pork and beans for 3 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I've got a few more tags that I'm thinking about on that. Well, I appreciate
stuff they
that.
have down there too, like entertainment wise. Like, what are they going to do for the next? 20 years, like, you know what I mean? All that stuff.
Yeah.
What is in the bunker? And is it worth it? Or should you just go, I had a good run. Let me check out. Yeah. That's funny. There's a lot of stuff there for sure. You see me as a red-haired person avoiding the sun while it comes. My skin here, I'm viciously burnt. I have to go right. So ridiculous.
Yeah, that's good. So you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that I didn't get enough time, whatever. I didn't figure out enough in time for the special, but the idea that like, there's a stereotype about older people that they love the bank. They're just always in the bank. And I don't think that's true. I think older people hate the bank, but they're the only people that have the time to read the agreements that they signed for this checking account, savings account, whatever, and they see how bad they're being fucked, and they have the time to go down there, and that's why they're in there early, waiting to get to the teller to tell this person, you've been stealing from me 25 fucking years, and I will sit here until I talk to any manager. I got a pocket full of Werthers. I'm wearing 2 diapers. I will be here until somebody answers these questions. I mean, I could do more stuff with it, but anyways, it was a thought I had that I didn't get fully worked out to put into this thing.
Yeah, I like that. That's definitely got legs, and that's another one you can build on about how old people are always taking up other people's time, like writing a check at the grocery store and telling their life story during the whole writing process. And I mean, you could add all the institutions that old people go to. Like they always go inside at McDonald's.
I do. I always go inside of McDonald's.
Yeah. And
I never go to the drive-thru. Fuck the drive-thru. I go in, I park at a spot, and I walk in the building. I'm not eat my fucking food in the parking lot like a seagull. The only difference between you and a seagull is you have music.
Yeah.
It's the same deal. I'm going into the building. I hate the drive-thru. Most of the time, it's not faster either.
No, it 100% isn't. That's funny. That's good.
They also have a bathroom in the building, for God's sake.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah. That's definitely got legs. You could do 5 minutes on that one. I think you could.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you could really take that a lot of different ways just on what old people do and how they act.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny that you said that because I am working on this thing about how we hate the elderly, and I find it disgusting. And I could even talk about that, like, because I like the idea of them writing a check and telling their life story. Like, what the fuck? What is the big rush that everybody's in to get where, to do what? So we can all sit at home, covered in butter. Let this cocksucker still keep some sort of humanity going.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I'll work on these things today. You do the same.
Yeah, I will. So the special is Money Never Wakes, and it's available on YouTube. It's very easy to find. I searched it several different ways, but if you type in Nathan Macintosh, it's the first video that pops up. So folks,
awesome.
I asked you to watch it for homework, but if you haven't watched it yet, watch it or watch it again because it's really good.
Watch it again?
Yes.
It's like the Batman. You have to see it twice.
That's right.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I really.
Yeah, it was really good. Where can folks find you on all the socials?
If they check in there, all the links are in there. But Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, it's all at Nathan Macintosh.
Okay, excellent. Well, this is a big one for me. Like I said at the intro, you're one of those guys that you're always in my top 5. And
I appreciate that.
And I think that you're one of the best ones working around. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. It's been really, really good for me.
Scott, this has been great, man. I really thank you for reaching out, and I'm happy I could do it. And thank you, man. Seriously, thank you. I really appreciate you.
Right now, we're getting spring ready at the Home Depot by stocking up on top brands and rolling out store-wide savings so you can get ready to start doing. Come in today and get up to $20 off Scott's Triple Action Fertilizer or Scott's Easy Seed Patch and Repair. Put the green back in your grass by killing weeds, preventing invasive growth, and feeding a lush lawn. Countdown to spring with savings on all your project needs at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid March 9th through March 22nd while supplies last.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.